All right, so
give it a second. Let it catch
no.
up.
So
let
I'm
people
just
tune in.
I'm testing my vocal me.
Here we are. Look at you.
Look at me.
I'll be curious to see. This mic should pick up me a little bit better too.
Oh, okay.
For the 3 people that actually want to hear my comments.
Well, they want to hear where they can buy valuable things.
Valuable.
I don't think we've got anybody to buy valuable things.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute?
No, I mean, it's been a minute since anybody's bought anything from us.
Oh, okay. So, are we about ready to start? Should I make starty noises?
Hey, it's me, Akita.
Hi.
I was just putting that people can ask questions.
Hi, I'm Bob Seeger.
So Bob, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bob Seeger, and I've given up music, and I'm now working. I'm doing rock on watercolor paper. How's that?
Rock on watercolor paper.
There you go. So, hi, I'm Keith McGuire. Mark's behind the camera, and this is an ongoing project that we've been doing, and basically what it is I'm doing a painting online, commenting as I go, teaching hopefully as we go, and maybe you can pick something up as I'm doing it. I'm going to pick up a brush and get started.
So real quick, let me switch angles.
Okay, to what?
To the top down, so they can see the painting that you're not you're not inside your square anymore.
What? That's not fair. Like this?
There you go.
Thank you.
So real quickly,
okay.
And let's cover real quick. We're waiting for people to tune in. What we've already done, or what you've already done, I should say. The hows, the what's, where we're moving in this video.
Okay. All right. So we've laid down a little bit of rock, some ground, and rock walls. We more or less got the building in, but what we haven't done a whole lot of detail. We did a fairly detailed roof. Oh, we're going to go through that again. And today what I want to do is I want to get the background in, really kind of nail down the background hill, background trees, and then go from there. Perhaps do a little more work on the rock walls, perhaps tighten up some of the rock. So you lay down color, you try to get it going, you let it dry, then you go in, you lay down a little more color. I mean, that's watercolors. You're building up layers of value. You get a better watercolor, I think. This is I'll say it again, the 140 cold press, Arches 140 cold press, and each layer, if you let it dry, you can just keep building layers. It's a great tool. As far as I'm concerned, the paper is what makes it when it comes to a watercolor. So I'm going to kind of wet the background a little bit. I'm going to start with my hill, and then I'm going to start placing color for trees, and then trees on top of the hill, and we'll go from there. But right now I'm just kind of wetting the paper to make it a little easier to apply the paint. So you want to be careful so you're not, painting into your buildings or anything. All right. So we're going to start. Oh wow, what do I say that and I painted into the hill. So I'm going to start, I'm going to start at the top here and let it bleed down. Maybe by that time it'll have dried up a little bit. So now right in this area I have a tree that I'm going to be putting in. I think I can put a little bit of green over top. Ain't going to hurt nothing, because it's just going to be a darker tree when I'm finished. So, okay. Come over here. Same thing.
So you're using your Schminky brand paints. Which color green is that? Just so I know.
Well, in the Schminky brand, this is, I'm using a little bit of, what am I using? I'm using a little bit of the,
This is supposed to be the easy question.
yeah, Naples yellow, a little bit of the May green, and it appears to be a little bit of the chrome green.
Okay, so that's a mix then. It's not just something
Exactly.
pure. All right.
Yeah. So I've got a few colors together. It's not often, quite honestly. I don't often find an opportunity where the color, especially greens, comes right out of the tube. Okay. For the most part, I end up usually doing a lot of mixing. So it's just who I am.
And if you guys have a suggestion on a green that you'd like us to try, let us know in the comments, and we'll try to get a hold of one.
God, yes, because I'm running out of ideas when it comes to green. Now, I love, like I said, I love the Schminkies. The May green, I love, and the reason I love it is because when I mix it with other greens, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of warms it up a little bit, or not warm, but brightens it up a little bit. A lot of times greens go real flat, and that May green, if you don't have Schminkies, I think Permanent Green Light would be the closest version. Okay.
So it keeps it saturated. It keeps that very vibrant.
Yes, exactly. And I really, that permanent green light, same thing, is the equivalent, I think, of, roughly of a May green, the Schminky kit. Okay, so I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I got a little bit of shadow here behind the house. And all this shadow isn't just from the house. There's going to be trees back behind the house here too. So, but I just want to get a little more shadow in on this side so you can see it's a little brighter over here, a little more shadow over here. Obviously, my sun's kind of coming this way. All right. I don't know if anybody can see that when I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
No, they can see.
All
so
right.
it's coming straight at the paper, pretty much. A little bit top
down.
But
Yeah, a little bit top down. And yes, so the light's basically hitting this wall. Okay. Here you can kind of see where the shadow is on the side of this wall here. So the shadows, if I've got trees here, we're going to show up on this side, and that's exactly what we're going to have, trees there. So
I'm just glad that you remember. It's been so long since we picked up on this painting.
All right. So we did have a few interruptions between us. Scheduled events and different things that we've had to do. So this is the first time we've been back in about 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and I'm it's all Mark's fault.
Yes.
I'm gonna blame I hate being the guy.
Just aren't you guys glad Keith posted all that extra material in the meantime? Stuff he'd been working on.
Yeah.
Keep you.
I'll be honest with you, folks. I've been helping people move. I've been teaching in other places and doing some new stuff, but it has been it's actually kind of nice to be back painting again, believe me. And I hope to be doing a lot more painting someday. But yeah, it's been slow, and I admit it. But like I said, I'm kind of looking. You go away from it for a little bit. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of fun once you get back again. It's like, hey, yeah, I like this. So I don't know. Oh, I just added a little. What yellow is that? That looks like a cadmium yellow light. Mostly because I just want to kind of break this color up a little bit over here. We don't want the green to all be the same green. If you notice, see how I leave a little air in my tree, so it isn't just this big dense tree. Okay, so we want to leave a little bit of air here and there, and I'm not trying to do individual leaves. I'm doing clumps of color, and later on we'll go back, we'll add more clumps, and we'll create some value from that. All right. Meantime, in the meantime,
Real quick,
yeah.
give me your cell phone.
What?
Give me your phone,
No,
man.
no.
I gotta make sure you're not gonna do anything inappropriate.
Oh, too late.
No, I wanna share it on your personal, so your friends and family can watch as well.
Oh, I thought I was.
You're live on your page.
Oh,
But
I gotcha.
You know, the people that follow you personally to know that you're doing this as well right now.
Okay. You know what? This is like science or something. Science experiments.
Dun dun dun.
Let's see. Who can I shame this week?
Steinmetz. I always shame Steinmetz.
Steinmetz, yeah, Paul. Shaming you, Paul. No, I was thinking I could shame Mark. And my son Mark.
You're just going to confuse people now.
I know, but it's a shout out. It's a shout out to my son. Call me son. I miss you. Ever since I had the operation, I don't know if that
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate, I know. No, I just he's supposed to call me today, and I'm looking forward to hearing from him. He's hopefully going to grow up and be a famous chef or pastry guy or something cool that involves food. Because believe me, it's my favorite. So now, what I'm doing now is I'm dropping color along the hilltop here, because I want this to be kind of like a row of trees up along the top of the hill here. So this is going to be a whole lot of everything. This is kind of like Michigan. Lots of green. Lots of green. So okay. All right. At this point, I have to let it dry. That gives it the that'll allow me to add more and more layers of color on top of that. In the meantime, I'm going to come down here while I'm letting that dry. I'm just going to break this up, this ground. I don't like things too smooth. Call me Mr. Texture.
I will not.
As opposed to Mrs. Texture. But
I would do nothing of the such.
Yeah. Mr. T. Mr. and Mrs. T. Bloody Mary Mix. Buy it. Alright. Okay. Alright. So now I've painted enough areas.
You painted yourself into a corner?
Yeah. I forgot we're doing it live. Usually we can stop. I let it dry, but no.
All right, kiddies, this is the part where we start talking and telling you dad jokes.
Yeah. Bad dad jokes.
Bad dad.
Bad dad.
Wait, what?
All right. So while that's drying over there, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw in a couple dark... I like to do this. I like to get some of these darks in, just so you have a little bit of a value, from very light to very dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting in some very dark darks here. Am I still in the...
You're there.
More or less?
I'll let you know.
All right.
I'll yell at you.
So, more or less, I'm coming in and I'm going to put in my old stone barn door, open door here. And just to get some nice value here. Also, I'm pretty sure I won't stick my hand in anything. Says me.
Now I'm confused. What are you using for your dark? Because it doesn't look like it's black, but it's close. No,
it's a. I'm using a combination of indigo, which I like. I'm not a big black fan. I like using various colors to create blacks. So I'll use indigo, which is a very dark blue. Sometimes I'll use, I'll add maybe a little bit of sepia, which is actually a combination of black and brown. But I like to have a little bit of, I don't want things to be too flat. So that's why I like to mix them rather than just get them out of the tube. Now I left a little light there. I might use that to create some something back there in the shadow. This window, I don't know. I think all these windows are going to be, well, maybe not all of them. I was going to knock all the windows out so they're dark. But I think I'm going to have a couple window panes here and there. So, but this side, nope, not at all. Okay.
Is there going to be a little man peeking out the window?
Possibly.
You'll only be able to see it in person. It won't show up on camera, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So if I spend 20 minutes doing it and then nobody can see it?
Yep,
So,
pretty much.
Thanks. Alright, sorry for spinning around so fast. I know you're all going, ooh.
Wee.
Alright.
I like when they try to rotate their phone and then the perspective changes on the phone because it shrinks it.
It gets
makes
narrow.
It yeah.
Alright, so over here, I think what I'm going to try to do is we're going to leave a couple window panes in here. I hope. Now, unknown to Mark, I have forgot to bring my tiny paintbrush with me today, so I'm just kind of faking it here.
So you had literally one job to bring the painting supplies you needed.
I swear I had them yesterday. You know what? I don't like that at all. I'm having trouble. So here's what I'm going to do. All the windows have been kicked out. I don't know why I couldn't do that this morning, but yeah, we're just gonna pretend this might have been an old house at one time and has become like an old stone barn now.
I just can't wait till you start putting the stone in.
Yeah, actually that's the...
Right now it looks like a stucco barn.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly, I'm glad you brought that up, is it kind of like a stuccoed whitewashed barn, but what I'm going to have, it's going to be so old that some of the stucco is going to be falling off. So you'll see brick, you'll see some stucco. So many exciting things to look forward to.
It's a hodgepodge of...
Yep, of adventure and...
Alright, we can't see when you lean over that far, though.
masonry fun. Sorry about that.
No worries.
It was, I was doing something cool. It was a trade secret. And now, you guys...
It's just really weird when, like, this hair starts creeping in at the bottom.
Oh my god. This is where you tell me about my bald spot I didn't know I had, right?
It's alright. And he's back to wearing a bandana.
Yeah, exactly. Alright. So...
Although, didn't you say if this video makes it to, like, 100,000 views, you'd shave your head?
No. Nope. You will never see me without hair or without a beard.
Well, you can keep the beard.
I think the only...
Hair grows back.
Yeah. That's...
That's what they tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. I like being on camera. Not. Nervous. Alright, so I'm going to put a little shadow while I'm kind of waiting for the greens to dry. I'm just putting a little shadow on underneath my roof here. The edge of my roof. Alright. And so I'm basically kind of wasting time. Sounds. And see that sharp line? I'll take a little bit of water. Just going to soften that up and kind of blend it away a little bit. Yay! Alright. Oh, I like that. Looks cool with the little bits and nubbins in there of shadow. Alright, so almost dry up here, but not quite. I'm gonna, in the meantime, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna start adding a little more chips and sticks and cracks in the granite here that's kind of sticking out. Maybe a little mold and mildew. So I'm all about the mold and mildew. So Mr. Mark, I spent my weekend watching the hurricane pass by my mother's house again. Woohoo! I was very excited.
Oh, that's good. She got lucky.
Yeah, she did. Or there's something magical about the town of Venice that it is able to repel. She lives in Nokomis Venice area. Let's say that. Seems like every time something gets close, there's an intervention, and they don't get it as bad as they're supposed to, or it'll come right up to Charlie about 10 years ago. Same thing. It just came right up to Venice, and like all the cameramen are standing there ready to experience the hurricane, and it turned and went up the middle of the state and just ripped up everybody else. But I don't know what it is. I hope I'm not, knock wood, I'm not jinxing Venice, but it was just really harrowing to watch over the weekend, talking to your mom, and then all of a sudden, no phones. Yeah. And you're going, well, I hope everything's okay. So, but they did fine. Unfortunately, my brother didn't. His house is okay, but South Venice is still without power, as is 3.5 million other people. So I'm just wondering, how many barbecues can you have before you run out of food? Barbecue me up some of them corn puffs. They'll be delicious.
I was watching a show the other day, and the girl went 10 days drinking basically a protein shake and nothing else every day. I'm like, so for $11 and change, she got all her vitamins and the recommended amount of protein that a person her size should be consuming, and was.
Is this during the hurricane?
No, it was something unrelated, but
okay.
It's one of those things, like, there's options that as unbearable as they might be.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad. I'm glad Florida dodged the majority of the bullet.
It could have been a heck of a lot worse.
Yes.
It's not, and I'm not saying, hey, boy, it went great.
No, for sure.
No, but I'll tell you what. At least certain areas got spared some of what was expected to be something really bad. And then other areas where they thought it wasn't going to be, too bad, ends up getting punched really hard. Just because of how the water kind of spun around. But, oh my God.
I couldn't imagine.
I'll be honest with you, man. I was like, it's like any really bad disaster. I hate to say it, any bad disaster. You're just glued to the TV, and after a while, you gotta just turn the darn thing off, because I was exhausted. Just watching. Yeah.
No, I've watched very little news just for that reason. Between Texas, then Florida, and then the wildfires. I'm just like,
you almost got to take a break and breathe a little bit. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. Turn it off for a little while. Watch something normal like Walking Dead reruns and stuff, you know. So, you know, those lighter, funner disasters that...
the fake disasters.
Yeah. The ones with drama.
Imagine.
So as you can see, by adding a little more, I'm using a lot, not a lot, but a darker value now. We did lighter middle values, and now I'm coming in with these fine lines to you know, to punch up the cracks in the rocks. You don't want to do it everywhere, but you do want to kind of have a nice there we go. That nice kind of light to dark thing again. And I am going to add just a little more, I think a little more burnt sienna. Here and there, just to get a little more color. I'm going to go over the top. And Mr. Hicks, what is our time? I know we're not.
Got about 40 minutes still.
40 minutes to go?
Yes.
Okay.
So be more entertaining.
All right.
I'm still curious because the direction of the light that you decided. I'm really kind of intrigued in how you're going to create more depth since it's kind of a front lit picture. You know, being all the shadows would be behind everything more or less. So
right. Well, we do still have the side of the building, some of the side of the rock here. It'll happen.
Yeah. I want to see it. I can't wait.
Yeah. Maybe.
So I can be like, what?
You did that?
You did what?
What is that?
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. It's not going to get too dark too many places. Thank you for pointing that out now. Fine. Oh, is that a thunderstorm coming now?
There you go.
Thanks, buddy. All right.
That brings up a second question I was going to ask you. Have you ever watercolored a rain scene?
Yes. But you almost want something reflective. Streets. You know what I mean? Something that you can see, like the lights of a car or the lights of street lamps, that kind of things. Yes. So you get that nice dark color in the sky. Then you get those beautiful reflections, real wet reflections. I love that. There's, who do I know? Does an awesome job. Dang. I think every French impressionist painter had a little fun with that. Okay. All right. All right, so I'm going to let that set up for a little bit. Yeah. And, oh, good. I think we're close.
All right, so slide it out of the way for a minute. I want you to slide your Schmincke brand pan paints into the frame for a second here.
Ooh, okay.
I know you've been using them. I want to see kind of where you're at. Talk about them for just a quick second while we give the painting a second to dry.
To let it set up?
Yeah, so...
Right.
Again,
I'm going to step out of the scene for a second.
Oh, no. Where did he go?
Yeah.
I lost him.
Here it is.
Oh, you got the case.
Yeah, I'm going to put the case. I take it out of the case just so I have a little more room. Since I'm using a paint tray, I don't need all this tray space. But
cool. Rotate it. Just oh, okay. Do it that way first.
That way?
Well, okay. So tilt it a little bit because I got a reflection right where the logo is. So, Schmincke brand pan paints. this was these are half pans or full pans?
This is a full pan set.
Okay.
And there's, I believe, 24 colors. Let me check. 6, yeah, approximately 6, yeah. 24 pan set. These are full pans. And Schminke's does an excellent job. They grind, regrind, and regrind their paints until it's, you know, super fine. These paints last for years almost.
So you've had this set for how long now? A couple months?
Since March.
Okay.
Okay, so what, about 6 months maybe?
Yeah, about half a year.
Yeah, and
I mean,
there are certain colors, yeah, I will dip into a little heavier than others. But that's just who I, you know, there's certain things that I use a lot more than others. Ultramarine blue, burnt sienna. But the nice thing is you can buy a refill, easy enough. You can see this tray very large, so you can have, you know, quite a bit of, you know, I just happen to like working in a butcher pan. I'm just used to it. If you're...
So, ballpark idea, do you remember what a set like that would run somebody?
Well, this is kind of weird. They go on sale a lot.
Okay.
So, because they are kind of like a bigger ticket item, so say like $280 to $300, but you can get them. You know, you wait. There are certain companies, you know, Amazon, but I'm sure it's Amazon, a company on Amazon.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing. I believe Dick Blick.
So we'll have, when this is all done and said, I'll put links in the description or in the comments of where we would like you to purchase the stuff. We get a small commission if you use our links. You don't pay any more. And there's no urgency to purchase it. But yeah, Amazon sometimes has them. Blick's, Ulrich's.
Yeah.
I don't remember if Michael's has it or not. But any place that I know that they do, we've got links to. And I know a lot of people, their first thought, I know because that was my first thought when I saw that, I went, $300, holy.
Yeah.
But they last forever. Your last set of pan paints from Schminke, roughly how long did you use that?
A couple years.
Yeah. So when you look at it that way, a set that can last you a couple years, that $300 now spread out, you know, say even $100 a year, you can spend that in tube paints or in cheap paints easily.
Right.
So this is an investment. It's an upfront investment, but it's a quality paint that will last you a while.
The tube paints, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that, you know, to make them liquid, they have to use a filler. Sometimes gum arabic. I think there's some other things they use. But seriously, you know, the pan paints, these dry pan, there's no filler. It's just pure paint. And that's why they go such a long way.
Cool. Can you open that up again real quick?
Yep.
I got a quick
I just want to
question
show
for you.
something real quick on the back, too. Now, I put these little rubber feet on here. But you see this little finger thing? That's so that you're going to go do plein air. And if you don't know what plein air is, basically you go out in real life and paint, you know, like out in the fields or something. So you got something to hold on to. You got your two trays here, and you got your paints right here. So, you know, you can even stick a brush in the middle there.
Cool.
But it's just a nice, really nice set. This is a really nice set. This was actually gifted to me by my students, and I still
They love you.
Yeah, well, I love them too. They've been very, very good to me.
Awesome.
And so, are we ready to?
Well, so I wanted you to open it up again. I had one more question about the paints.
Okay.
So obviously the tray's got a little bit of paint on there. That's not a big deal. You wipe that right out. In some of your lighter colors, I can see, like in your yellow, there's a little bit of blue, a little bit of cross contamination. Oops.
Oops. Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Is there any recommended trick to try and just lift that out in case I'm like, my yellows are all getting a slight tint of green now. How do I get it back to yellow? Do I got to just kind of wipe it out until it comes out?
Right. Well, wipe it out with your brush. That's it. You wet your brush. In fact, here, we can do one real quick. So I just wet my brush. Now the trick, honestly, see, I can lift a lot of it right out. Okay, is hopefully you get to use that paint that you just, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully you're not wasting it,
No.
you know. But yeah, as you can see, with just a little bit of effort, I've got most of it back out again.
No, perfect. That's what I wanted to show. So, you know, don't steer clear of pan paints because you're afraid that you're gonna ruin it. The cross contamination is surface.
Right,
It'll
shallow,
it'll
very
wipe
shallow.
right out. So
Exactly.
awesome. Thank you, Keith.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go home now. No,
Not yet.
A little more work. All right. All right. So I'm gonna pull this back out again. I'm gonna close up my tray. And actually, if you take the tray out, I don't know if you see this.
Yeah.
There's actually a bunch more. You know,
Yeah.
it's up to you. It's.
Now, we're not showing it in this live stream. If you watch the previous ones or some of Keith's other older videos, and in future ones we'll do it again, we haven't really been showing him mixing in the butcher tray. But any of our other videos, you pull them up, you see that butcher tray to kind of see how he kind of free forms, and he likes having little spots all over, and he can blend them together easier and make a bunch of different mixes. The trick with the butcher trays are they have to be enamel.
Yes.
Don't buy a plastic butcher tray, it'll stain eventually. Don't buy a painted butcher tray, the paint will chip
Well,
off.
they're not called butcher trays then. They're called pallets.
Pallets. Well,
Yep, but you got the right idea.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. There are pallets that have little divisions in them that you can squeeze the paint in. Those are kind of convenient. It's almost like having dry paints because, you know, the wet paints will dry, okay? And you can reuse them again. But what happens with the plastic is they tend to stain like crazy. And the idea is you're trying to see your color in its purest form. So that's why I like the butcher trays.
and when you're done with the butcher tray for the day, just wipe it out with a wet paper towel. Don't use anything abrasive because you don't want to scratch the enamel. You want to keep it nice and pristine so the paint doesn't end up staining or getting stuck.
But I will say too, they are tough as nails too. They really are.
Because it's baked on enamel and not paint
exactly.
so
Yeah,
awesome.
I bought something that I thought was a butcher tray or a butcher pan of with a baked on enamel, and it was actually powder coat.
Oh.
Yeah, so it stained, it scratched it. So there aren't too many places you can get a good butcher tray. They're, I think, mostly just being made in China. I have not found, but you know, the art companies, you know, Cheap Joe's, any of the big, you know, paint stores, online paint stores, have them. So you know, they're there. They're actually quite reasonable in price. So.
Awesome.
I just highly recommend them. They're just very nice to use, very easy to use.
And then Keith's got his low Cornell brushes that he's using today. That's personal preference, I think, more than anything. It's something he's comfortable with. The quality is great with them. We're not sure what they're all made out of. It might be squirrel, horse, dog.
Yeah, it's no. Yeah, it's the squirrel, horse, dog combination. No, it's a synthetic. And it's a blend of, I believe, like squirrel and plastic. Now, God knows how they do that. I don't even want to know, actually. I can see poor little squirrels giving up their tails.
Yeah, I've noticed the squirrels in my neighborhood have less bushy tails lately.
Exactly. And now we call them rats, you know. But yeah, it's a synthetic bristle. And I'll tell you what, I like them because I can keep a fine tip for a very long time. They stay very sharp. If you don't abuse your brushes, hey, they'll last you a very long time. Nice thing is, you can get new ones, you know, and it's not like, ow, you know, a good one, you know, a good 8, run you maybe $8-10, and it'll last you a long time, you know. So.
Do you think they'd give me a discount if I sent them my own squirrel?
Yes, everyone. Oh, that'd be awesome. Send your own squirrel too.
Yep. All right, so we think everything's pretty close to being dry. Our little intermission there.
Yeah. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come up along the top here, and these are gonna be trees on this above the hill here. So I'm going to start by just kind of getting maybe a little darker value along the base here. And as you can see, I don't want it to be all just all painted, all dark. So I kind of break them up a little bit. And then a lot of times I'll kind of go in and sometimes I'll add a little water, just kind of blend it a little bit. Right now I'm just kind of trying to decide what greens I'm going to use here. So I'm thinking it's a little bit of the olive, a little bit of the chrome, and there's a little white here. I'm just going to eliminate some of that edge there. All right, cool. So we want a little bit of light on top, lighter on top. Okay. I'm going to mix, what have I got here? A little bit of blue. I'm going to mix in a little ultramarine blue, just to get a little more shadow here and there. Also just kind of get another color in there, so all the poor greens aren't all exactly. That's kind of, Michigan makes me a little crazy. This is where I reside now, and I'll be honest with you, this is a green state. I mean, this is just, it's just so green. And my problem is it's all this same green, so you go to paint something and it's kind of almost not funny, as far as I can't, the grass to the trees to the everything is green, and it's like the same kind of green. So you really got to kind of think about how you're going to break it up, use your greens in different ways to get different techniques and stuff. So I don't know if you can see. I hope, what am I saying? I hope you can see. I'm working the bottom with a combination of ultramarine blue and olive green. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep coming through here, and I want to leave the tops lighter. Okay, all right. So there we go. Figure if Mark doesn't answer me, then
Who's in here?
Yeah.
Oh, that squirrel's peeking out at the bottom of the screen again.
You didn't put a squirrel in here, did you?
It's your head.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. And it's live. All right, so now I'm just, in the lighter areas, I'm hitting it with some little bits of dark here and there. Just to kind of break it up a little bit. We're going to do a happy shed now. All right. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of water. I just see this kind of white area here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just bleed these trees up just a hair. Just so it has a little softer touch. I'm going to drop a little more of the yellow green in. And kind of do this again. I'm just going to gently let some of that color bleed up. There we go. All right. So as you can see, I don't want a whole lot of detail. We want to see something, but we don't want to see detail. We would just want to see kind of value. We want the trees to be far enough away. And now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. All right.
For somebody that's complained about how green it is in Michigan, you could have painted a fall scene.
No, that's coming up.
Aha.
Fall, yes. And we will be doing fall subject matter. I do like to. I tend to. It's like, hey, get ready for birches in winter. Come this. I know we did it once, but we're gonna do some more. Yeah, I like painting to the seasons, and we're not quite there yet here in Michigan, or at least in my section of Michigan. It's not quite there yet. So I am kind of looking forward to doing some fall subject matter. I've lived in Hawaii. I've lived in Florida. I'll tell you what, and they were beautiful and they were great. But I'll be honest, I love seasons, man. They really, I think I remember Hawaii. Oh my God, things would just get brown, just brown. It'd be winter. I mean, because the plants, I think, at some point have to rest a little bit.
Yeah, they need their downtime.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'd get such, blasé, colors. Add that to the, I was on the Big Island, so it was very, on the Kona side, which is very, how do you say it? Lavy? Lots of lava.
Lots of lava.
Lots of lava. Lava-ly. It was very lava-ly.
Lava dominant.
Yeah, lava-ly. Isn't it been lava-ly? So, and yeah, it was, it could be kind of almost like a desert.
My luck, that's when I would end up taking a vacation down there.
Yeah, well.
Hey, nobody told me.
You know what? You could be sitting on the beach anyway. Or if you are going up exploring, I think it's kind of fun on the other side of the island anyway, where it's very wet all the time. So, not a problem there. So, as you can see, I've gotten a nice tree line going in the back here. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll maybe build a couple, build a pine tree or two, maybe come up. There we go. So, nice. All right. As far as I'm concerned, nice. All right. So now I'm going to do this tree that's kind of in the back here. We've kind of laid down a lighter value, and and so now I'm going to start hitting it with darker greens. Get some value, get some three-dimensionality to the tree. So, so part of when you're doing a tree, you kind of want to break the tree up in a way that it looks. Trees aren't, more often than not, bigger, older trees, they're not just like one lump, okay, like kids draw them. They're made up of, a series of branches that go up with clumps of leaves. So what happens is we have to, we want to shadow each section. We want to kind of give each section an opportunity to be three-dimensional. So I've got a section here where I've got a little lighter area and then the dark below it. I've got another lighter section here. I'm going to run some of this value under here and then off to the back side here a little bit. As you can see, I'm not trying to, I'm just kind of hitting it with, with my brush, kind of the side of my brush a little bit, and just kind of breaking it up with a little more value here and there. So I was going to have two little trees here, or I was going to have a little tree in the background here. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to combine this, now that I'm looking at it, into one big fat tree. There you go. One very broken up tree, kind of older. Are you asleep?
No, I was curious about that spot because it looked kind of odd to me on the camera, but I was giving you an opportunity to
before you said, "What the hell is that spot doing?"
Pretty much.
Yeah. No, I understand, and you know, sometimes as the artist, you change things as you go. You know, you're trying to, you know, figure out what works and what don't. And I was having kind of trouble with that. I was thinking, yeah, it could be a little tree farther back, and I thought, you know what? No, I want to kind of a rough and tumble tree right behind the building here. And I don't want it to be just a round, happy little tree. I want it to have branches that break off here and there. So as you can see,
I want it to be a miserable tree.
That's right. Because this could be.
You haven't thrown in a dead tree yet. When's the dead tree show?
Well, here's the thing. Since they don't have leaves, they come last, right? So yeah.
Interesting.
And I haven't quite got my dead grass collection going anywhere.
And just for the people that are tuning in late.
Oh no.
To the right, that's the hand that doesn't hold the brush right now, of the building. You've got like a streak. Is that the continuation of the rock wall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. But by God, none of you guys will see that done.
3-4 more weeks, right?
Yeah. I'm waiting till. Actually, I was gonna finish it when Mark makes me leave it at the studio, so I won't go home and play with it.
I want them to see everything.
Yeah.
That way there's no like, how come that whole left section's done? It wasn't like that last episode.
And it looks really nice, too. You must have had time to really work on it. This is kind of fun doing this, you know, live on air. Thank you. This is his idea. For me, it's nerve-wracking. Because I want people to think this is easy, right? I want them to think, wow, he's really good at that. So,
everything takes 30 minutes.
Yeah, it does. Actually.
Heavily edited.
Yep. And I like it when it starts out real rough, and then you get this finished product, you know, refined and very nice. All right, so
I also like to think they enjoy our banter.
You know what? I've been looking at the reviews, and
I've got to let you go, Mark.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say.
It's been
no,
great,
I was gonna say. You do have some fans. I don't know why. I'm doing all the work here.
The work?
All right, so he works in the beginning, right? He's the guy that sits there and he has to set it all up and everything. So yes, and it's all his equipment, and he bought it all. And the trouble is, after a while, I don't hear from him. It's like, what are you reading a book over there? What are you doing?
I'm multitasking.
Are you really?
I can't always stop what I'm doing for an entire.
I just want someone to pay attention to me, and
I'm listening to every word.
Yeah, whatever.
And I'm making sure if there's anybody watching, if there's any comments coming up, I'm making sure it's shared in other places.
Well, here's the sad part: nobody's commented.
Nope.
So
people forgot that we do this,
or we move it around so much they can't find
too.
it. I wanted to say something nasty to him, and I can't because I can't find him now. All right. So as you can see, by adding a little bit of color on the hills, it kind of gets it to roll a little bit. I like that. That's kind of pretty. And then I'm actually concerned that there's not enough dead grass in these pictures.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get some more yellow in here so that I can start killing grasses quickly.
Quick, before he notices.
Yeah. He's not looking at me right now. And that whole field died. All right, there we go. So sad. Anyway, so where are we at, Mr. Mr. Mark, on our time.
We've got about 10 more minutes if you want to continue. If not, we can cut it short today.
Okay.
Because
I
it depends
think,
on how much is wet and how much.
yeah, I think I almost want to cut it off here because, yeah, I do. Because I want to kind of go back to the rock next time, back to the rock walls, to the building itself, and then I want to start adding branches and things, but I can't do that right now because it'll just go poof, you know. So right now I'm kind of, this is kind of fun. I'm happy where I'm at right now. So is there anything I need to say, like bye or?
Yeah, if we're done for the day, as always, thank you for watching. Whether you watched live or if you're watching in the replay, it's greatly appreciated.
Yes.
Links are at the bottom of the screen right now for Keith's personal website.
What?
Go check that out. We've got links to where to buy a lot of our.
Can I do this? Is that working, or am I too small?
No, let me switch you.
Okay, wait.
Where's that? And go more down, 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 down,
Wow.
out. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Right there. All right.
That's so weird.
I know. But I've never done that before.
It doesn't line up at all. It just
Okay.
looks like you're pointing at yourself.
Hey, I don't. We'll let that go. That'll be next week. All right.
But anyway, so links are at the bottom. We got Keith's personal website, the Facebook page, and his YouTube channel. This content's on all three of those. Pitch me an idea for what video you want to see us do, but pick whichever one of those locations you'd like to watch these videos. Right now we've been going live on Facebook and sharing the replay on YouTube. We may switch that at some point in the future, but for right now that seems to be working.
Extra busy schedules.
Extra busy schedules. There are links on the website, and I'll put in the description as well to where you can purchase all the materials that Keith used. Once again, if you purchase through our links, we get a small commission as a thank you. You do not pay anything more than you would normally if you found it on your own, or use that as a checklist to go purchase at your local art supply center if you can find one. There's at least one left in the Tri-County area here in Michigan.
Maybe two.
Maybe two.
Yeah.
And with further ado, thanks.
I do.
I don't.
Yep. Bye-bye, everybody.
I'm going to just leave this grow and see how awkward you feel.
I am awkward. Come on.